Relationships are often painted as a balance of equals, but let's face it, that's rarely the case. Power dynamics are always at play, and here's the hard truth. She needs you more than you need her. I know some of you are already shaking your heads, but stick with me. This isn't about being cocky or disrespectful. It's about understanding your value as a man and why the power often lies in your hands, even if society convinces you otherwise. From the beginning of time, men have been the providers, protectors, and builders. Women are naturally drawn to that strength, whether it's physical, emotional, or financial. And while modern culture pushes the idea that relationships are equal partnerships, biology doesn't lie. At her core, a woman seeks a man who can lead, provide stability, and inspire security. That's why, in most cases, she needs you to fulfill these roles far more than you need her for validation or companionship. But here's where it gets interesting. Many men don't even realize the power they hold. They overinvest, chase, and put women on pedestals, forgetting their intrinsic worth. Women are highly intuitive and can sense when you don't know your value. When that happens, the power shifts, and suddenly you're the one chasing while she controls the narrative. The truth is, a man who recognizes that he doesn't need a woman for happiness or purpose becomes magnetic. Why? Because confidence and independence are irresistible. When you own your value, she'll naturally be drawn to you, and she'll work to keep you. But here's the fun part. The moment you flip this script, you start to see relationships differently. You stop settling, stop begging for attention, and start attracting women who genuinely respect and value you. She'll realize that while she may bring beauty, emotions, or companionship to the table, it's you who provides the foundation for the relationship. So, let's dive deeper into this topic and uncover the truth about power in relationships. Is it about ego? No. It's about understanding the natural dynamics that have always existed. Once you see the game for what it is, you'll never play it the same way again. 1. Men provide, women seek security. At the core of every relationship lies a fundamental dynamic. Men are natural providers, and women are instinctively drawn to security. This isn't just about money, it's about creating a stable environment where she feels safe, cared for, and supported. From an evolutionary standpoint, women have always sought men who can offer strength and resources. While times have changed, biology hasn't. Providing doesn't mean you have to be rich or endlessly giving. It's about showing leadership, stability, and the ability to handle challenges. Women are wired to look for these traits because they signal a man who can protect and provide, not just financially, but emotionally and mentally. She needs to trust that you can handle life's pressures, and that being with you offers her a sense of security. On the flip side, men who fail to recognize this dynamic often fall into the trap of thinking equality in relationships means abandoning their role as providers. But the truth is, when you step back from being a source of strength, you risk losing her respect and attraction. Women don't just want a man who says he cares, they want actions that show it. However, providing isn't about being a doormat or letting her take advantage. It's about setting the tone of the relationship by taking responsibility and leading with confidence. When you embody these qualities, she'll naturally gravitate toward you and invest more in the relationship. Remember, it's not about what you give her, it's about how you make her feel. When she feels secure with you, she'll be more loyal, loving, and supportive in return. The balance of providing and maintaining boundaries is what creates a healthy, fulfilling dynamic. Ultimately, being a provider isn't a burden, it's a privilege. It's about stepping into your role as a man, embracing your natural instincts, and understanding that her need for security isn't a weakness. It's part of what makes relationships thrive. Know your value, lead with confidence, and let your actions show her why you're the foundation she's looking for. 2. Confidence shifts power. Let me start with a quick sports example, because, let's face it, sports analogies just work. Think about a top athlete stepping onto the field. They carry themselves like they've already won, and that confidence often intimidates the competition. Apologies for always leaning on sports examples, but hey, they're relatable, right? Now let's dive in. Confidence is one of the most powerful tools a man can wield in a relationship. It sets the tone for how you're perceived and establishes your position in the dynamic. A confident man knows his worth and doesn't need constant validation from anyone, especially not a woman. This self-assuredness naturally shifts the power in your favor. Women are naturally drawn to confidence because it signals strength, leadership, and capability. When you walk into a room knowing you belong there, she notices. When you make decisions with certainty and handle challenges with composure, she respects you. Confidence isn't about arrogance, it's about believing in yourself and standing firm in your value. But here's the thing, confidence isn't just about what you say or how you act. It's about how you carry yourself in every aspect of life. It's seen in your posture, your tone, and even your silence. A confident man doesn't chase, he attracts. He doesn't beg for attention or approval because he knows he doesn't need it to validate his worth. Many men lose power in relationships because they lack confidence. They over-apologize, overcompensate, or let insecurity drive their actions. When you're unsure of yourself, she feels it, and the dynamic shifts. Suddenly, you're the one chasing while she holds all the cards. The key to shifting the power is simple. Believe in yourself. Set boundaries, focus on your goals, and don't compromise your values to win her over. Women respect men who prioritize their own growth and stand firm in who they are. Confidence isn't just attractive, it's magnetic. When you understand your worth and live by it, you naturally command respect. That's how you keep the power dynamic balanced and ensure that the relationship is built on mutual value, not one-sided effort. 3. Over-chasing weakens your value. Let's be real, fellas. We've all been there. You meet a woman you really like, and suddenly it feels like your world revolves around her. You're texting her non-stop, rearranging your schedule to see her, and doing everything you can to impress her. At first, it might seem like this effort will win her over, but here's the hard truth. Over-chasing doesn't make her value you more. It does the opposite. When you over-chase, you unknowingly send a message that you're too available, too eager, and maybe even desperate. Women pick up on this energy quickly. While they might enjoy the attention at first, it can eventually lead them to take you for granted. Think about it. If you're always bending over backward to accommodate her, what incentive does she have to put in effort? Here's the kicker. Over-chasing doesn't just affect how she sees you. It also impacts how you see yourself. When you prioritize her above everything else, your goals, your friends, your own well-being, you start losing touch with the man you were before you met her. That's the version of you she was attracted to in the first place. The key is balance. Yes, show her you're interested, but don't overdo it. Let her miss you. Let her wonder about you. When you're too available, you take away the mystery and excitement that make relationships intriguing. Women value men who have their own lives, goals, and purpose outside of the relationship. Here's something personal to think about. The times when you've been your most confident, focused, and driven, how did people treat you? Chances are you didn't have to chase anyone. They came to you. That's the energy you need to bring into your relationships. Remember, relationships are a two-way street. If you're doing all the chasing, you're setting the tone for an unbalanced dynamic where she has all the power. Instead, focus on being the best version of yourself. When you have purpose, confidence, and independence, you naturally shift the dynamic in your favor. So, stop over-chasing. If she's genuinely interested, she'll meet you halfway. If not, you're better off focusing on someone who truly values you for who you are. 4. She's drawn to independence. Let's talk about independence in relationships, and yes, this one cuts both ways. Women are naturally drawn to men who are independent. It's a fact. But here's where the problem comes in. Too often, neither party truly understands what independence means, and it creates unhealthy dynamics that mess up relationships for both sides. Men, let's start with you. Independence doesn't mean being emotionally unavailable or treating her like an afterthought. Some guys here be independent and take it to an extreme, acting detached or refusing to let her in. That's not attractive, it's immature. True independence is about being your own man, having your own goals, and being secure in who you are. It's knowing you don't need a relationship to complete you, but still choosing to invest in one when it adds value to your life. Now, ladies, here's the flip side. While independence is attractive, some women demand it from men while not practicing it themselves. They expect a guy to have his life together, but their own sense of independence is shaky at best. They lean on their partner emotionally, financially, or even socially, creating an unbalanced dynamic. The result? Resentment builds, and the relationship starts to crumble. Both parties need to recognize that independence doesn't mean isolation or selfishness. It's about balance. Maintaining your individuality while building something meaningful together. Men, don't use independence as an excuse to avoid commitment. Women, don't claim to want an independent man and then criticize him for not giving you constant attention. Here's the harsh reality: if either of you lacks independence, you're setting yourselves up for failure. A man who's overly dependent comes off as needy, which kills attraction. A woman who's overly dependent on a man drains him, which kills respect. Both people lose. The healthiest relationships are built on mutual independence. You both bring your own strength, stability, and identity to the table, and you grow together without losing yourselves. Anything less than that is a ticking time bomb. So let's be honest about this dynamic. Both men and women have work to do. Independence isn't just attractive. It's necessary for respect and longevity. Without it, the relationship's foundation will always be shaky. 5. Biology beats modern myths. Men often fall for the idea that modern dating has erased biological instincts, that women no longer care about strength, leadership, or the ability to provide. It's easy to believe this myth when you hear phrases like relationships are partnerships or money and status don't matter. But here's the reality. While society has changed, biology hasn't. Women are still naturally wired to seek men who display qualities of protection, security, and competence. And here's where men often get it wrong. Some men misinterpret this dynamic by thinking they must flaunt wealth or status to attract women. They overcompensate with material things, thinking a fancy car or flashy lifestyle is the key to winning her over. But women aren't drawn to wealth alone. They're drawn to the qualities that often lead to success, like ambition, discipline, and confidence. If you rely solely on material things without embodying the traits behind them, you'll attract women who are only interested in what you can give, not who you are. Another mistake men make is believing that showing vulnerability or emotion makes them weak. They suppress their feelings to appear strong, thinking that's what women want. But being a leader doesn't mean being emotionally unavailable. Women appreciate men who are emotionally grounded, those who can express themselves without losing control or being overly reactive. Strength isn't about hiding your emotions, it's about managing them effectively. Lastly, many men get stuck chasing modern myths of equality in a way that undermines their role in the relationship. Yes, relationships should be fair, but fairness doesn't mean abandoning leadership. Women often appreciate a man who takes charge in certain areas, not because she's incapable, but because it shows confidence and decisiveness. Men who avoid this out of fear of seeming dominant often come across as passive, which kills attraction. So how do you get it right? Focus on being a man of purpose. Build your confidence, develop your skills, and lead with integrity. Don't chase validation through material things, and don't avoid your natural role as a leader out of fear of modern labels. When you embody strength, stability, and emotional balance, you naturally align with the biological instincts that drive attraction. And that's something modern myths will never change. 6. Neediness kills attraction. Let's be clear, nothing erodes attraction faster than neediness. Neediness is like a red flag that screams insecurity, and once a woman senses it, it's game over. Why? Because neediness signals that you lack confidence, independence, and self-worth, qualities that are essential for maintaining a healthy and balanced relationship. Neediness often shows up in subtle ways, like constantly seeking validation. For example, if you're always asking her, "Do you still like me?" or "Are you mad at me?" you're communicating that your emotional stability depends on her approval. This isn't romantic, it's exhausting. A confident man doesn't need constant reassurance because he knows his worth. He understands that her affection is a choice, not a necessity for his self-esteem. Another form of neediness is over-availability. If you're dropping everything to text her back immediately, or rearranging your life to fit her schedule, you're giving away your power. Women respect men who have their own priorities and boundaries. When you're always available, you lose the sense of mystery and challenge that keeps attraction alive. Neediness can also manifest as overinvestment. If you're putting in all the effort, planning every date, buying her gifts, or showering her with compliments, without her reciprocating, you're setting yourself up for failure. Relationships should be a two-way street. When you overinvest, you're telling her that you're more into her than she is into you, which can make her pull away. So, how do you avoid neediness? Focus on building your own life. Prioritize your goals, hobbies, and friendships. When you have a purpose beyond the relationship, you'll naturally appear more confident and self-assured. Women are attracted to men who are driven and independent, not men who rely on them for validation or happiness. Attraction thrives on balance. You need to show interest, but you also need to maintain your individuality. When you're confident in who you are and don't rely on her to fill emotional voids, you create a dynamic where she's drawn to you instead of feeling smothered. In the end, remember this: you should never put someone else in charge of your self-worth. Be the man who's comfortable in his own skin, and she'll see you as someone worth respecting and desiring. Finally, power comes from boundaries. Boundaries are what separate men who are respected from men who are walked over. Without clear boundaries, you lose power in any relationship. It's that simple. Boundaries are not about being controlling or distant. They're about knowing what you will and won't tolerate and standing firm in your values. When you have boundaries, you're saying, I respect myself enough not to settle for less than I deserve. And believe me, women notice this. A man without boundaries often ends up overcompromising. He lets her make all the decisions, ignores red flags, and puts her needs above his own every single time. While this might seem like the way to make her happy, it does the opposite. Women don't respect men who can't stand up for themselves. On the flip side, when you set boundaries, you communicate confidence and self-worth. You show her that while you care about her, you won't sacrifice your identity or principles just to keep her around. This balance creates a sense of respect and attraction that strengthens the relationship. Boundaries also protect you. They help you avoid toxic dynamics where one person takes more than they give. They ensure the relationship is built on mutual respect and effort, not one-sided investment. In short, power in relationships isn't about control. It's about knowing your worth and not settling for less. Set boundaries, stick to them, and watch how the dynamic changes. Drop your experiences in the comments below, and I'll reach out to you personally. We're in this together. Thanks as always for watching, and until next time, this is Stoic Approach to Life.